We're back with Manzanita Voices, a program about writers and writing. My name is Linda Field, and we're talking with Rachel McKell ArceJaeger. Rachel, you have not only written your historical fiction novel Robin, about Robin Hood, but you also have a short story available right now that people can buy. Would you tell about that?
So its title is A Stepmother's Story, The True Tale of Cinderella. It's the first in what I hope to become a series of short stories. And basically it's a retelling of Cinderella from the stepmother's point of view, completely twists the story around. There's no magic in this story, but it explains how the events could have been conceived as magical or misinterpreted to be that way, as explained by the stepmother. My fascination when I write is to take stories that people love, that people have heard so many times in their life, and twist it in ways that they have just never thought of before. And so this story, as well as my Robin Hood book, does that.
And where can people find this story?
It's currently available on Amazon Kindle and on Barnes & Noble Nook for 99 cents. It's also available on my website, www.arcejaeger.com. That's www.arcejaeger.com. And it's also 99 cents on my website.
Okay, well that's good. I think people will want to go there. And I know there are a lot of parents out there who really monitor their children's activities on the computer, which we all hope they're doing. And how comfortable can parents be to be sending their kids to your website?
They can be very comfortable. I have the philosophy, it was my parents instilled it in me when I grew up. The college I went to helped reinforce it, that basically a person is responsible for their impact on society and what they say and what they do. And so my stories that I publish, the content I try and put on my website, I try and make them as clean and available for everyone as I possibly can. You won't find profanity in my stories or in my blog posts. I don't do anything that's even remotely sexually explicit in my writing, because I believe a kid should be able to read this and be comfortable with it. Sometimes I will throw in a few innuendos to some of my books because I want to be able to reach that more adult audience who will grasp those, that sort of flavor. But I do it in such a way that it would just completely fly over the head of a child, that they would read it in the linear fashion it is written and they wouldn't see the subtleties to it. And I firmly believe that's important, that children should be able to retain their innocence for as long as possible. And so I strive to do that with all my writing.
That's great. That's wonderful to hear. Rachel, is there anything else that we're going to hear more from your book? And we're going to finish the segment out with that. But is there anything else that you wanted to bring up that I may have overlooked?
You can visit my website to learn more about me if you would like. There are games and activities on there, and more will be coming. I also keep a blog that has articles regarding computers and writing and just personal events in my life, as well as responses to current news topics. And so there's a wide array of activities that you can go visit and enjoy, and more will be coming. And so you can visit that on my website, which is rmarcejaeger.com. I invite you all to come visit me there and to send me a little note, because I love getting email, and it's like the high point of my day when one of my readers sends me a message.
Oh, I can imagine it is. And I know that you'd love to hear from the listeners as to whether or not they enjoyed the show today.
Oh, please.
It's always great to get feedback, folks. Rachel, let's finish out this program with more from Robin. Would you set up this segment of the story, please? Robin, of course, this is Robin Hood, but Robin Hood is a woman.
Right, and at this point, the The section I'm going to read is actually my rendition of that classical tournament the sheriff holds to try and ensnare Robin Hood, who he believes is a guy. Robin at this point is disguised as a man, and she is competing in this tournament for a variety of reasons, which you'll have to read my book to find out. But at this point, the preliminaries of the tournament have gone by, and she is in the archer's tent sort of assessing her competitors before the end of the tournament. And she has just finished assessing some of them, and she comes to a final man. The last man stood apart from the others with a quiet aloofness. Seeing him so unexpectedly made Robin drop her bow, her muscles suddenly weak. Hastily she scooped it back up, blushing within the folds of her scarlet hood as the others turned to look. What is he doing here? Robin despaired. Lords did not compete against peasants. He himself had said that it gave peasants the wrong idea. Egad, what if he recognized her? Hastily she double-checked her hood. Robin did not know the reason her father was there. If she had, her face would have been burning with shame, not just embarrassment. A solid gold arrow was a lucrative prize for a man whose coffers had grown tight of late. But that was what happened when a daughter ran off before her wedding, and her father was left to pay the forfeit. Thank goodness the sheriff still wanted an alliance, or else he would have had to pay even more than the current penalty. Soon the whole rotten deal would be closed. And who will be left for me then? Lord Locksley wondered, oblivious to the stare of the Scarlet Archer. The trumpet sounded then, interrupting his thoughts and calling them all back to the range. Robin was the first out the door. As the 10 hopefuls lined themselves up on the field, she made certain to position herself as far from her father as she could. The sheriff sat on his gilded chair upon the dais, appearing far more intent than he had thus far today. Even from across the field, Robin could see his frown of displeasure as the sheriff realized that none of the 10 hopefuls wore the hoped for Lincoln green. He bent his head towards the herald on his right. Whatever the man said, the sheriff's frown only deepened. You will get 2 arrows each, the herald at their end was instructing. The finalists will get 3. Closest to the center wins. The other competitors strung their bows as they listened, their faces set. Even the blue-clad yeoman had calmed down enough to look poised. Robin attempted to match their expressions as she strung her longbow. She had to try twice. The first time her fingers, suddenly nervous, slipped. During the earlier rounds, the crowd had booed and cheered for their favorites, hooting wildly at the foul shots and hurrahing a shaft well aimed. Now they were silent, eerily so. The only sound was the twang of strings as the archers took their shots one by one, and the distant thumps as their arrows struck the targets. 20 twangs and 20 thumps later, the spectators on both sides of the range broke their silence with an enormous roar of approval. These were surely 10 of the finest archers in all of England. At 250 paces, all 10 men had still managed to lodge their arrows within the black ring of the butt. What a shame that only 3 could move on. Robin knew she had shot well, but was it good enough? From this distance, all the arrows appeared to cluster together in one clump. She glanced at her father, waiting calmly at the left end of the line. What right did she have to compete like this, to think of winning against archers such as this? She, a mere girl. She should leave now before the herald announced her defeat, shaming her in front of her men. Surely they would guess when she failed that she was not what she appeared to be. They would desert her. A runner was approaching with the winning 3 arrows. Robin accepted hers from his hand, slightly dazed. The other competitors were falling back, their role in the tournament finished. Rather than leave the range, they lingered behind the finalists, waiting to see who would take home the golden arrow. Robin glanced at the other 2 finalists left on the range. Gilbert of the Red Cap was there, looking very smug. The other man was her father. Once again Robin was 12, preparing to do battle with her father for the right to learn the archer's art. As with that time, she would shoot well. As with that time, she would lose. Robin's hands were damp. She wiped them nervously on her skirts. Only, she realized suddenly, she was not wearing a skirt, but a tunic and hose. And she was not 12 anymore. But could clothes in 7 years' increase really make a difference? Cheers told her that Gilbert had already shot the first of his 3 arrows. Robin could dimly see it 300 paces away, quivering from its position in the clout. Aware of her father's eyes on her, Robin hurried to shoot, and in her haste misjudged the wind. Her shaft landed a finger's breadth further away from the center than Gilbert's arrow. Cursing herself for her clumsiness, she watched as her father methodically drew back his bow. His arrow pierced the white core exactly opposite the red cap's shaft.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there at a moment of high suspense. Thank you, Rachel. It's been wonderful having you as a guest today on the show.
It's been wonderful to be here talking with all of you.
It's great. We look forward to your success, to the coming out of your book, which should be out in the next few months.
Correct. Hopefully by mid-July, if not sooner.
Fabulous. And you'll know on the website, on our www.manzapress.com website. We'll announce it when Rachel's book comes out. Please go to that website today if you can, and check out the whole website, and also look for email addresses if you'd like to contact one of us, either Monica Rose, who is the one who originated this whole thing, or myself, or Rachel, or anybody else that you see on that list. Send us an email. Let us know how you're liking the show. We hope that you're appreciating it and you're getting something from it. And I think Rachel wants to say one more thing.
Oh, just Linda inspired me that if you are interested in learning more about the Robin Hood story that I have written, or being notified of its release, you can go to my website and contact me and subscribe to my email list, which does not get sent out to anyone else. It's completely private, but it will allow me to notify you of my upcoming book releases. And so my website is www.rmarcejaeger.com. Again, that's rmarcejaeger.com. And just contact me there, and I will notify you whenever my book is released.
Great, or with any other news that you might have. Thank you so much for being our guest. It's been great fun. This is Linda Field. You're listening to Manzanita Voices. We'll see you again. Have a nice week.
You've been listening to Manzanita Voices, a production of the Manzanita Writers Press, an affiliate of the Calaveras County Arts Council.